Hey everybody, we're back. Renee and Jessica. We are here as your Mood Makeover Method coaches to talk to you some more about the Mood Makeover Method. So, I'm Renee. I am the founder of the Aroma Specialist. We're the home of holistic champions in the Mood Makeover Method. And today we're going to be talking to you about aroma tapping. Aroma tapping. But first, I want to introduce you to Jessica.
Hello, everybody. So good to see you again and be with you again. My name is Jessica Kupos. I am one of the certified instructors for the Mood Makeover Method and also a student of Holistic Champions as well. This is so um, uh, just surreal for me because I started out a couple of years ago, right in the middle of the pandemic, and started out just as a student myself from a makeover method at a time where my life was very volatile. It was very difficult, and I had no control or no idea about how to regulate my emotions. I was just a mess. And so to be able to come out on the other side and to be able to coach others through their journeys is just absolutely amazing. And I'm
It's a
extremely
joy. I
grateful.
just love your story.
Uh,
So amazing. It's so amazing. Please watch our story if you haven't seen it. Well, today we're going to talk to you about aroma tapping. So some of you are very familiar with EFT. You've been tapping. Some of you are also familiar with aroma tapping. And it's simply that we go through the tapping spots, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit, but we add essential oils. So we do that in a couple of ways. A lot of times we'll start our aroma tapping session with like an inhaler, and we'll do the breath work that we talked to you about in the other video, or we'll have the oils in our hands and we'll cup them over and inhale that way, and then we'll actually have the rest of those oils on our skin as we tap. And so there's lots of tapping points throughout the body. They're really just meridian points, very similar to acupressure, acupuncture. So if you're familiar with how the body is set, where certain points on the body help you to release energy, we can do that with our fingers. And that's really what tapping is all about. It's just hitting those spots. And a lot of us do it naturally. Don't worry, I'm set. Don't you kind of tap your chest? You see people all the time tapping their heads. It's something that we kind of do naturally. Yeah, if we're thinking, we do that because it releases energy and it allows things to get flowing. And one of the biggest pieces of, I don't know if I should say biggest piece, but one of the pieces of the Mood Makeover Method, important piece, is movement and getting your energy moving. And it allows things to come up. We use that sentence a lot, allows things to come up. And the aroma tapping is a really, really big piece of that. And so those of you who have been tapping, aroma tapping, you know the effects that it already has. You talk to us about your experience with the aroma tapping, Jessica.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So for me, I remember the first time I did it. And
Was it during the workshop?
yes,
Yeah,
yes. And the
yeah.
tears. That's how I knew you guys that I was like, this needs to be in my life. Like I don't care what I got to do. I had to join this program because of the release, the shift, the movement. And for so long I had not realized or understood just how stuck I was. Stuck when it came to my emotions, my mindsets, how I felt. And so being able to tap and go through the points, um, I cried. I just kept crying, and that was the movement. The energy was being released. The stress. We talked in the last video about releasing, and that's some of the things that were happening for me. And even as I continued to progress in the program, just things were moving. Lots of crying and yawning, belching, like it's
Yeah,
just moving.
gas, all of
Yeah,
it.
everything, or movement, or sometimes you have to go to the bathroom or just whatever that thing is for
Mhm.
you. And so for me, the aroma tapping was great. And then for me, a lot of times I found, because sometimes we just don't realize where you hold the stress, where you hold the anxiety or the trauma that you're going through. For me, it's my chest and my belly. That's where I found I learned I held it. And so being able to tap in those areas really helped to soothe and to comfort in just a way that I never knew that I needed. So, I
Yeah.
mean, Mood Makeover Method was so instrumental for that. I love that portion about aroma tapping.
Yeah.
It still is. It was instrumental then, and it still is now for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agreed. And so one of the things that we do, and if you've been tapping, you're familiar with, having that little spot on the side of the hand, and you do the setup statement, which is even though, and then the way we do it is we insert whatever it is that we're going to be dealing with, whatever's going on. So maybe you felt really angry today, and you say, even though I felt really angry today, I deeply love and completely accept myself. And then as we go through the tapping points, we really dig into and lean into that feeling. So as we're working with the clients, it's not always necessary that you're having to tell us all the details of your life story and all of the private personal things that you may not want to talk about. A lot of times those, you do feel safe when we talk about those things. But what's really important is the feeling, and so we're leaning into that and we're leaning into it. And so I may have, and I will guide you with scripts, and Jessica will guide you with scripts. And we'll be talking to you about what to say as you're doing this tapping. We also do a version of aroma tapping that we call open tapping. We often do this in our group class because during the group class where it's not the place to talk about the private details, and yet we release so much in those group classes with that open tapping. And it really is just a matter of letting the energy flow, just
Mhm.
letting it flow through your body, and it's just getting things moving. And it's kind of like this little person inside you just talking to you and just letting you know what's going on, and being able to begin that process of release. And then as we work together throughout the week, we are able to dig into that a little bit more. So whether you have a script or you don't have a script, this works amazing to just get that energy unstuck. We were watching a training the other day, and they used that illustration about the bucket. Do you remember that, Jess? Were you on with that?
Body
They
is
were
a
talking.
bucket. Yeah, the body
Yeah,
is a
he's
bucket.
talking
Yeah,
about, yeah,
yeah.
looking at our clients as having, everybody's got their bucket, and you have to have these different ways of releasing. Otherwise, there's that overflow.
Hmm.
And so this is just a great way to release this aroma tapping. It's a good way to connect to you and a fantastic release. It really, really is. And we primarily use tapping for release. Now, I've been asked many times, can we use it for nourishing too? I have seen it used in nourishing, but in the Mood Makeover method, I really like to use it for release. That's where we pretty much stick to it. In that, there is some nourishment in that beginning setup statement. But again, as I explained in one of the earlier videos, is the reason that we're saying that I deeply love and completely accept myself is for safety. It is to comfort yourself, your internal person, your subconscious, so that it knows that sometimes these things are difficult to talk about. We're also going to talk to you on June 29th when we have the event. We're going to talk to you about going through these things safely, because the fact is we're not psychologists or psychiatrists, and so as coaches our scope is different, and our we are very determined and very serious about doing no harm. And so sometimes things are too much to relive, and your body will let you know, and we will know the signs, and we'll help you with that so that you'll know if it's time to back off, because you're not ready for where it is that you're trying to take yourself. And we're very um, mindful of not forcing memories or emotions or um, introducing ideas, but really and truly allowing you all to go through your own journey and being a guide and support for that so that you can discover things as you're ready, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking, just as you were speaking, you don't want to force something. You think about you always give the analogy of an onion, like you don't just like
Yeah.
rip it apart. You peel it back layer by layer, and that's really what needs to occur, especially when there's just a lot there. That was
Yeah.
certainly my experience. I couldn't just There were some things that I couldn't voice just because I wasn't ready to do it. My body just was not ready for that
Yeah.
process. it can become too much. And so you have to do it gently. You just peel back, just like a layers of an onion. You just do a layer at a time. And then as you do those layers at a time, you'll find that you'll be able to get to the deeper things as you keep,
Yeah.
doing the work. But you just have to take it a bit at a time. It's a process.
Yeah, it's absolutely a process. It's a process. So that is our video on aroma tapping, and that concludes the some of the physical steps of the Mood Makeover method. And in our last videos, we're going to talk to you about the principles. So I introduced three core principles that we use when we're creating our scripts, and really just how we navigate through the Mood Makeover method to get to core issues, to get the result that each of us is looking for. There are three core issues that we use, and we're going to talk to you about those next. All right, we'll see you in the next video.